Imagine standing in front of a mirror and seeing not your face, but the reflection of everything you could become. Not just the version of yourself you show the world, but the raw, unfiltered potential lurking beneath. The version that could crush limitations, rise above mediocrity, and command the life you secretly envy in others. Now, imagine being terrified of that version. That fear is real. That fear is more common than you think. And yet, we rarely speak of it, because society has trained us to fear our own strength. Most people believe fear is the avoidance of danger, the instinct that protects us. But there is a fear far darker, far more subtle, the fear of becoming powerful in mind, body, and spirit. This is not fear of physical confrontation or failure. It is fear of confronting yourself, the kind that gnaws at the soul when you realize you are capable of more than you allow. Nietzsche called it the fear of the Übermensch, not the conquering hero of legend, but the self who rejects the constraints of morality, expectation, and comfort. We fear the radical honesty of our own potential because it strips away the illusions that make life bearable. Think about it. How many people settle for jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, dreams that whisper from the shadows, simply because the act of becoming stronger seems dangerous? Stronger in thought, in spirit, in clarity, stronger enough to defy what everyone else believes is right or normal. Every day, ordinary people choose comfort over power, mediocrity over mastery, simply because the mirror tells them the truth is too much to handle. They fear who they could become. Let me tell you a story. Imagine a young man, brilliant but unremarkable, who spends his life adhering to societal rules, getting degrees, climbing ladders, maintaining a facade of decency. Inside, he feels the spark of potential ideas that could change his path, strength that could forge a new reality. But each time he approaches it, he hesitates. He fears what will happen if he steps into that power. What if he outgrows everyone he knows? What if he becomes isolated, alone, in a world unprepared for his intensity? So he retreats. He accepts the comfortable cage, and the fear festers unspoken, shaping every decision. That's the truth of dark psychology, the way our minds betray us when faced with our own possibility. The human psyche is strange. We crave growth, we dream of power, yet when presented with the opportunity to surpass ourselves, we shrink, we hide behind morality, habit, and distraction because the idea of becoming stronger terrifies us more than remaining weak ever could. Nietzsche understood this intimately. He recognized that humanity has an instinctive resistance to strength because it requires confronting the chaos within and the chaos without. Strength is not given. Strength demands sacrifice, confrontation, and ruthless self-awareness. Most people avoid it, and in avoiding it, they remain trapped. Consider another layer, the fear of judgment. When you step into strength, you do not simply elevate yourself, you expose yourself. Your newfound clarity, decisiveness, and independence are alien to those who remain bound by societal constraints. They will fear you. They will resent you. They will try to drag you back into conformity. It is easier, psychologically, to remain small, to blend in, to avoid awakening the suspicion or envy of others. This is why the path to becoming strong is lonely. It is also why it is powerful. The very act of embracing your potential defies the passive comfort of the herd. Strength is more than physical or intellectual prowess. It is a radical independence from illusion. It is the courage to recognize that life has no inherent meaning and yet to craft your own meaning anyway. The fear that grips us is not fear of danger. It is fear of the raw responsibility that comes with this freedom. Nietzsche wrote about the abyss, warning us that those who stare too long may lose their footing. But the abyss is not the enemy. It is the mirror. It is the confrontation with the self stripped of excuses, illusions, and borrowed values. And this confrontation is terrifying. Most flee from it, preferring the numb familiarity of weakness. Let's bring it closer to home. Think of ambition as a fire burning in your chest. Weakness tells you to smother it, to avoid the pain of fuel and smoke. But that fire is your life force, the undeniable urge toward something greater. When you suppress it, you live a life half alive, haunted by regret and shadowed by envy of those who dared to ignite their flames. And yet, even when that fire beckons, most hesitate. They whisper to themselves, "I am not ready, I am not capable. The world is too cruel." In truth, the fire is ready, the world does not care. Only you can step into it, only you can dare to burn fully. History is littered with those who embraced fear and rose. Nietzsche himself endured solitude, ridicule, and relentless struggle, yet he never abandoned the pursuit of intellectual and spiritual power. He saw clearly that the development of strength is never comfortable, never polite, and never approved by those who fear it. And this is precisely why it is necessary. True strength does not conform. True strength disrupts, confronts, and evolves. And the fear of becoming strong is the subconscious acknowledgement of what that disruption entails, for ourselves and for the world around us. You may be asking yourself, how do I overcome this fear? The answer is simple in concept, but brutal in practice. Face yourself. Witness the truth of what you could become without flinching. Do not rationalize, do not distract, do not seek validation. Accept that growth is lonely. Accept that power requires risk. Accept that people may resent you. And most importantly, accept that remaining weak is the most comfortable form of suffering. The journey begins with the small acts, moments of honesty with yourself, choices that prioritize potential over ease, actions that demand courage even when trembling. Every day you deny fear, you forge strength. Every day you confront discomfort, you step closer to the version of yourself that terrifies you, the version that could lead, create, and conquer internal chaos. The mirror will show you glimpses of this self, fleeting shadows in the corners of thought. Look at them. Study them. Let them unsettle you. The fear you feel is not weakness, it is awareness. And awareness is the first step toward becoming strong. Human beings are paradoxical creatures. We crave power yet flee from it, desire freedom yet remain imprisoned by comfort, hunger for truth yet hide from it. Nietzsche observed this tension relentlessly. He called on us to embrace the danger within, to stare into the mirror of potential, to welcome the terror of growth. Because only by confronting the fear of becoming strong can we transcend the ordinary, the expected, and the morally convenient. To deny it is to live a life dictated by the anxieties of mediocrity. To embrace it is to take the first step toward a truth that is lonely, unsettling, and profoundly liberating. The fear of becoming strong is not a weakness of the body or mind. It is a moral and psychological battle. The moment you feel it, recognize it, and refuse to yield, you awaken. The moment you accept that the discomfort of strength is preferable to the comfort of weakness, you take ownership of your destiny. This is Nietzsche's lost truth, that the human spirit's greatest challenge is not the external world, but the shadowed, trembling self within. Now, let's take it further. The fear of becoming strong is not something that disappears once you acknowledge it. In fact, it grows, it mutates, and it tests you at every level. Strength demands confrontation, not just with the external world, but with the internal shadows that we carefully hide from. It is a war fought in silence, in sleepless nights, in the moments when no one is watching and every instinct screams to retreat. This is where true mastery begins. Imagine a woman, brilliant and fiercely creative, yet constrained by fear. Every time she considers stepping into her full potential, publishing her ideas, speaking her truth, living uncompromisingly, She hesitates. Her mind whispers, "It's safer to blend in. It's safer to avoid conflict. People will not understand you." And she retreats into the comfort of invisibility. But within that retreat, a quiet torment festers. She senses the power she denies herself, feels the dissatisfaction of a life half lived, and wonders why others, seemingly less capable, stride boldly where she hesitates. This torment is the engine of dark psychology, the subtle, corrosive force that molds behavior when fear suppresses potential. Fear does not always present itself as terror. Often, it masquerades as rationality, morality, or practicality. It says, "You cannot do this. You are not ready. You will fail, and the world will reject you." And we nod along obediently, as if it were the voice of reason. Nietzsche warned us against this deceptive comfort. Strength does not arise from safety, it emerges from chaos, from tension, from the willingness to face what everyone else avoids. To live fully, you must recognize the illusion. The fear that tells you to stay small is the same fear that prevents you from becoming who you were meant to be. Let's examine a harsher truth. Society, by design, punishes those who seek strength. Humans fear power when it challenges their equilibrium. A person stepping into their potential disrupts norms, challenges authority, and exposes the fragility of those around them. The stronger you become, the more isolation you face. Friends may grow distant, family may question your choices, colleagues may resent your independence. This is not accidental. It is a natural consequence of confronting weakness with strength. To step boldly into your power is to accept the alienation that follows. Nietzsche called it the path of the free spirit. It is lonely, it is painful, and it is necessary. Now, consider the mind itself. The human psyche is a battlefield where desire clashes with fear, instinct clashes with conscience. Every thought of expansion, every ambition to rise above, is met by the shadow of hesitation. You may dream of greatness, yet when faced with the first concrete step, your mind floods with excuses. "I am not ready. I am too flawed. The risk is too high." These thoughts are the inner voice of mediocrity, the guardian of safety, and the enemy of strength. To move beyond them requires ruthless self-honesty. You must watch yourself with the precision of a surgeon, dissecting every hesitation, every excuse, and every illusion that keeps you small. Dark psychology teaches us that weakness thrives in comfort, and comfort is the most insidious trap of all. Consider a person living a life of stability, steady job, predictable routines, polite social interactions. On the surface, everything appears fine, yet beneath the calm lies stagnation, the slow erosion of potential. Fear whispers that change is dangerous, that strength brings discomfort, that independence isolates. And so, the comfortable prison remains, gilded and invisible, yet suffocating in its subtlety. Strength, then, is the willingness to break that comfort, to endure chaos, and to walk a path where few dare. Here is an example to bring it closer. A man dreams of writing a book, a work that could expose truths, challenge ideas, and shake minds. But each day he delays, telling himself, "It's too risky. I'm not ready." Years pass. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, and the fear of personal transformation keeps him trapped. Finally, he dies, leaving behind only fragments of ideas, swallowed by the safety of hesitation. This is the cost of fearing strength. Every unacted ambition, every suppressed potential, every retreat into safety is a small death. A death of what you could have been. Yet, here is the paradox. Strength is not granted by others, it is forged in isolation, struggle, and defiance. Nietzsche wrote that the individual who embraces their potential must be willing to confront suffering, rejection, and the void within. To be strong is to be uncomfortable, to be different, to face contempt with indifference, and to accept that the world may never reward you. The truly powerful are often misunderstood, feared, and criticized, because their very existence highlights the weakness in others. Strength is a mirror for the cowardly, and the mirror is not always welcomed. The path forward is clear, though it is not easy. First, embrace discomfort. Seek it out. Every choice that challenges fear, every decision that prioritizes growth over ease, is a step toward strength. Second, cultivate self-honesty. The mirror does not lie, but we do. Confront the parts of yourself you have long ignored, the desires, the ambitions, the truths you avoid because they terrify you. Third, accept solitude. Strength isolates because it separates you from conformity. Those who choose growth cannot always walk the crowded, familiar roads of society. They must tread paths that few will follow, alone but unafraid. Let us return to fear itself. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your signal that you are on the threshold of transformation. When you feel fear, recognize it as a guidepost, not a stop sign. The body may tremble, the mind may resist, but the soul knows the truth. Beyond fear lies power, clarity, and authenticity. Those who shrink from it remain forever bound by the limitations of their own mind. Those who embrace it step into a dimension of existence that terrifies the weak, dazzles the indifferent, and awakens the dormant potential within. Consider Nietzsche's own life. Ridiculed, isolated, misunderstood, he endured profound suffering, yet he refused to yield to the fear that would have dulled his mind or muted his voice. He recognized that the greatest conquest is internal, the mastery of thought, emotion, and will. To achieve this, one must stare into the abyss of self, confront the chaos, and emerge willing to act even when certainty is impossible. Strength is born there, in the tension between fear and audacity, hesitation and decision, weakness and potential. Finally, understand this: the fear of becoming strong is universal because strength threatens the comfortable lies we tell ourselves. It threatens conformity, exposes hypocrisy, and demands courage beyond ordinary measure. To embrace it is to awaken. To resist it is to surrender to a life dictated by the timid, the fearful, and the complacent. Nietzsche's lost truth is simple yet radical. You are capable of more than you allow, stronger than you acknowledge, and freer than you imagine, but only if you dare to confront your fear, step into the abyss, and claim the power that lies waiting within. So look in the mirror tonight. Do not seek comfort. Do not avert your gaze. See yourself as you could be, unshackled, unafraid, and unrelenting. The fear you feel is the first proof that transformation is possible. Lean into it. Allow it to sharpen you, to refine you, to awaken the dormant force within. The world may not be ready for your strength. You may not be ready either. But the moment you choose to face the fear anyway, the moment you decide to become strong despite doubt, isolation, and danger, that is the moment you claim your life, your truth, and your freedom. Nietzsche taught us that the journey to strength is not a path of comfort, but a trial by fire. It is the crucible in which the human spirit is tested and either broken or forged. The fear of becoming strong is the shadow that guards the gate. Step through it. Face yourself. Become what you were meant to be, and in doing so, you honor the lost truth that few dare to see, yet all are capable of realizing.